Hi everyone, this is Christian Miranda. In this video, we're going to tackle all about international market entry modes and the different factors affecting the choice of international market entry mode. We'll give you also one example of an international firm who successfully dominates the international market and the entry mode it used to introduce its product to the different markets all over the world. But before that, to thoroughly understand the entry mode adopted by the firm, let me give you first a little review on the different modes of entry. So, market entry modes, it is a strategy in introducing or bringing your products in the international market. Foreign market entry modes or participation strategies differ in the degree of risk they present, the control and commitment of resources they require, and the return of investment they promise. So there are three modes of entry available when a company is considering penetrating the international market. First, export modes, wherein the manufacturing activities are being done in the home country and transferred either directly or indirectly to the host country. Intermediate modes, where there is a presence of an intermediary in the host country. It could be through a joint venture, licensing, franchising, and the like. A shared control and split ownership is agreed in this international market entry mode. Hierarchical mode, where a firm establishes an wholly owned subsidiary or branch to the host country. Different companies of the same industry may use different modes of entry successfully. It entails different imperative factors to consider in order for a company to choose the right entry mode that it perfectly suits. Some of the factors that are needed to be considered are the following. First, the internal factors, which includes the size of the firm and the international experience. This includes the firm's availability of resources and having international experience being the tool to survive in the international market. Then the desired mode characteristic, which includes the firm's characteristics of being risk averse, the control over the firm's resources, and the flexibility. Then next is the transaction specific factors, which includes the advantage of having the tacit nature of know-how and the firm's opportunistic behavior. Then lastly, the external factors such as socio-cultural distance between the host country and the home country, the demand uncertainty, the market size and growth, direct and indirect trade barriers, intensity of competition, and the availability of relevant export. So now I will present to you the international market entry modes that has been adopted by the Toyota Industries Corporation. How they managed to successfully blanketing the world with its products. Before that, let's know first the background of the company. Toyota Motor Corporation began in 1933 as a division of the Toyota Automatic Loom Works Limited, a Japanese manufacturer founded by Toyoda Sakichi. Toyota Motors is known as automobile manufacturer that is best recognized for building reliable cars and also outstanding records for offering reliability and durability. So wherever we go, not even single soul did not know what a Toyota is. It just shows how famous Toyota is in the automobile industry. So now, let's see how Toyota successfully penetrates the international market and the entry mode it's used to introduce its products. Toyota actually used three entry modes successfully. First, entry strategy adopted is the export mode of entry. It started when Toyota received 100 units of model FXL large trucks by Brazil. As Brazil was a developing country at that moment, it was a golden opportunity for Toyota to introduce its brand named overseas and highly potential to penetrate the automobile market in Brazil. But because Brazil eventually had a poor infrastructure, Toyota grabbed this opportunity and tend to market its four-wheel drive Land Cruiser, as this vehicle is able to withstand the poor road conditions of Brazil. This enables Toyota the chance to export its product to other Latin American nations like Colombia, Costa Rica, Venezuela, and Puerto Rico. For Southeast Asia, the export was to Thailand, which is in 1950s to 1960s, and in China. And in the Middle East, it was in 1947 that the exporting activity being done, which was to the King of Egypt. For Europe, Toyota hesitated and had no intention in exporting its products at first because Europe is known as the world's most sophisticated market until a European representative came over to Japan asking Toyota to export its automobile. As a result, Toyota had exported its model Crown and Land Cruiser to Denmark and Ethiopia. Then afterwards, second entry strategy was used by Toyota, the intermediate mode. Toyota made several joint ventures with local manufacturers in host country to easily bring their product to the market. First, when Toyota successfully penetrated the Thailand with their products, they decided to make a joint venture with a local Thailand car manufacturer and was called Toyota Motor Thailand. Then Toyota also made a joint venture with Ford, which was later on failed. Then after it made a joint venture with General Motors in 1981 with the reason that a voluntary restriction on Japanese exports to USA was initiated. Then later on, Toyota adopted the third entry strategy, which is the hierarchical entry mode. After the expansion of products to the Latin America, Toyota had expanded its automobiles to the North America continent, especially in the United States of America, where it established 5 wholly owned assembly factories. The expansion of Toyota's products continued to the West region, then to the Central region, and lastly to the East region of the United States, especially to New York City. This expansion process was successfully carried out with one of the factors of the establishing of the second wholly owned subsidiary of Toyota, which located in Brazil. The expansion leads to a success when Toyota do Brazil merged with Toyota of Argentina to export Toyota's automobiles to Latin America and Central America. In summary, Toyota started to target the international market by focusing on the national level, then the global level. Ways of making its product known throughout the world are through exporting at first, joint ventures, and later towards the establishing of Toyota's own subsidiaries to manufacture its products in the host country. After creating a potential hopes in the 5 continents market, Toyota began to be part of the local community's choice of automobiles in their own industry. So to date, Toyota have several successful wholly owned subsidiaries and joint ventures throughout the world and become the leading car manufacturer, surpassing other competitors. So that would be all, and I hope you learned something out of this presentation. Thank you for listening, and God bless.